This week on NBA G League Takeover, we know about the Bronny effect, but what about the Yuki effect? We introduce you to Yuki Kawamura, plus an exclusive interview with the latest two-way player from Charlotte, Isaiah Wong. And later, LiAngelo Ball is making some noise. We break down his comments alongside his brother. All that and more coming up on NBA G League Takeover.
Big win, on top. On top.
What's up, everybody? Welcome inside to NBA G League Takeover. I'm Mike Davis here with Gianna Hearn. Gianna, let's kick this baby off. A lot of great stuff happening with the Memphis Hustle. Just the other night, I mean, we all remember this dude from March Madness, NCAA tourney. Yes, Cam Spencer from UConn. The dude just went off, had a career-high 51 points. But before we get into him, let's talk about one of the sensations from Japan, Yuki Kawamura. These two guys, both on the Memphis Hustle, a lot of excitement generating from them. Tell us how exciting Yuki Kawamura is and what this effect is. Because you keep saying, Gianna, hey, we know about the Bronny effect, but what about the Yuki effect?
I mean, Yuki doesn't even have to step a foot on the court for the crowds to go crazy, not just for the Memphis Hustle, but for the Grizzlies' big team. You hear all the chants, you hear everything that's happening. They want Yuki in if he's not playing, and coach typically tries to put him in. But Yuki has 870,000 followers on Instagram, and he's pretty much bringing all of Japan to the G League when he plays. I mean, the social numbers are off the chart, but this is not someone that's just a sensation. He can really play. He's not getting a lot of minutes with the big team, which is somewhat expected right now. But when he's in the G League, he's really showing out. He's leading the league right now with 4 games. Yeah, small sample size. But he's leading the league in assists with 11.6 assists a game.
It's pretty crazy. The dude is 23 years old, two-way player. He's the shortest player in the NBA right now at 5'8". He's under 160 pounds. He's 159 pounds. The stat line that I loved was the 15 points and the 16 assists, but it's almost a given that this dude is going to get 11 dimes. It's so crazy. I mean, it's amazing stuff. And part of that assisting forte of his, he was really helpful to Cam Spencer, as we were mentioning. 51 points, 75% shooting, a career-high 12 three-pointers made. He was 1 three-pointer shy of the record, Gianna. I mean, prolific display from Cam Spencer.
Yeah, I'm checking my notes right now. He was the most efficient three-point outing when there's a 50-point game in the G. So first when it comes to that, but second most efficient game ever in the G League. So these are crazy numbers. 80% from the three-point line. When you're shooting 12, I mean, it's not just quality, it's quantity. It's all that wrapped up in a bow, and Cam Spencer is really showing out for someone like Ja Morant, who comes and sits courtside at the Memphis Hustle games. He's got Yuki as one of his best friends right now, and then Cam Spencer. It's a show in Memphis. I used to live there, and I've gone to many of these games, and I wish I was there right now because it's exciting.
I mean, these two guys, that 1-2 punch, it's super exciting. Would you say this is the most exciting team in the G League right now?
I can't lie. A lot of teams are showing out in the G, and I'd be remiss to say the Iowa Wolves are not putting on a show. I mean, 9-1, they're leading the league right now. They're exciting. Can't lie. Leonard Miller, Daisha Nix. There's a lot of cool people.
And when they've gotten a lot of love on this show, but that was a perfect transition from my partner in crime right there, because right now we're going to be talking about, yes, the Kia Player of the Month. That's going to go to Leonard Miller. This guy is averaging 23.1 points per game with the Iowa Wolves. Really a stud for that organization, as they've been playing tremendously all season long, but specifically this month. And that's why not only is Player of the Month going to Leonard Miller, but Coach of the Month is going to go to Ernest Scott. I mean, the Iowa Wolves team, they're 9-1 this month alone. What is going so right there? I mean, we've given a lot of love to Daisha Nix. We've given some love to Leonard Miller, but what is this team doing beyond them that is helping them get to the top of the G?
Well, we've heard from Daisha Nix when we did the interview that they spend time as a team together. They went bowling in Indiana, and when you think about the G League, you think about guys trying to like one-up each other and just get their call-up, get their two-way. You don't always think about team chemistry. It's kind of hard to build when you're fighting against one another all the time. It's not like a collegiate team vying for one thing. There's personal goals and there's team goals here. And so they've really found that balance, I think, of becoming friends on the court while also trying to do their best. And Leonard Miller is someone who is really striking because he can really play, but he's on a Timberwolves team who is playoff contention. They're trying to go for a chip. So to find the opportunity in time right now, he's not finding it. But when he's in the G League, he's showcasing that if given the opportunity, he can really perform.
Okay, I love it. So, I mean, Iowa Wolves 9-1 this month. Well-deserved awards for them. Kia Player of the Month, of course, going to Leonard Miller, and as we mentioned, Ernest Jones, Coach of the Month, going to him as Ernest Scott. As the Coach of the Month for the Iowa Wolves. A lot of great stuff there. Of course, you got to make sure you're tuning into all the Memphis Hustle stuff, as we've seen. Yuki Kawamura as well as Cam Spencer. A lot of great synergy that's emanating from that Memphis Hustle squad. Coming up after a short break, Gianna is going to be speaking with an exclusive interview with Isaiah Wong. He got a lot of love from us last week. He was doing great stuff with the Salt Lake City Stars. Now we're going to be telling you what he's doing and this new two-way contract he has with the Hornets. That's coming up after a short break.
Big win on top.
Welcome back to NBA G League Takeover. Now we got an exclusive sit-down interview, Gianna Hearn and Isaiah Wong. Let's take a listen.
And I'm here with the newest two-way player for the Charlotte Hornets, Isaiah Wong. Big news coming up this week. You're fresh off of winning Player of the Week in the G when you were with the Salt Lake City Stars, and then you get the call. You're getting the call up, the 10th of the season. How you feeling?
I feel good, just coming into Charlotte, just trying to get to know all these players, just having a good time here, just being with the team and just learning as much as possible.
I always love to find out how players were told that they got a call up. So what was that moment like for you? How'd you get the call? What were you doing?
I was actually we was going to play the Valley Suns. So I was on the bus. I actually missed like two calls from my agent and the people at the Utah because we was on a flight. So I was on the bus and we was about to go to the hotel. And the security guard gave me his phone talking about they needed like somebody needed to call you. So I'm on the phone and one of them told me, he's like, yeah, you been called up to Hornets. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I appreciate it. I was happy when I heard that, and it was up from there.
Was it a surprise to you? Because you're kind of in the middle of everything, trying to play a game. You had probably your thoughts focused. You're in the middle of travel. So did it catch you off guard, or were you kind of like, yeah, this is the time?
Yeah, it caught me off guard. I was ready for play the Suns G League team, and I was like going off like we just came off a game from who we played. We played the G League Warriors G League team. So just coming off that game, just preparing for the other game. Then I get a call up, and next thing you know it, I'm on the flight to Charlotte.
Yeah, so then you get the call, and then what, you pack up and you leave immediately? Like within a
Um,
day, you're in Charlotte?
I left at like 3 a.m. to like the car ride. So I just stayed up so I could just sleep the whole flight because it was like a 5 hour flight. So they told me like I was waiting for the flight when I got caught. I was confused when I was on the bus when I got caught. I was like, should I just leave the bus? Because we was at the airport already. So I was just confused so they were trying to figure out like what to do and get my flight ready.
Yeah, these two-way stories are always and call-up stories are always funny to me because it's always like out of the blue. You're never ready for it, and it's just like, oh, now you got to switch up. But this is your second time having a two-way contract. How are you approaching this one differently?
Just being like for me, just being like more around the player, just being um, just showing like what I can do, just showing like I'm here to be like one of them players, just to improve and just be more of a like talker and more of a leader in a sense, and just being like a player like they can trust.
When you entered this season, did you have an offensive mindset because you came out and had several great offensive showings, one of them being a 41-point performance game? What was your mindset going into the season, knowing that you were not on a two-way and you didn't have an NBA standard deal, you were on a G League contract?
I feel like for me, just coming into the season, I was just feeling like not really like offensive minded, but I was really like just get my work in and just like put like the just for me, I was like step by step, like my first step of like gaining coach trust, in which I feel like he gave me a lot of trust going into the games and making me like flourish throughout the season. So when I flourished and like put the work in, coach trusted me and put me out on the court and I did my thing. And I feel like with all those little goals I had, like now I got a two-way here. So I feel like with that and like the great like organization that Utah G League, like it really helped me throughout the process. Great people over there, and I really loved it over there. And like I miss them low key right now. So it was a great place over there.
And before the season started, there was the Fall Invitational. You participated in the first ever G League United team that got to play overseas for FIBA play in Singapore. But you got to play in the games when G League hosted Mega Mies, a team from Serbia. How did that experience help you and prepare you before the season even started?
Great experience. We was a lot of new players that I got to know. A lot of great players too, and just the experience, just going playing those teams, overseas teams, and when it was just, I feel like it was great to like keep on playing throughout the summer because I did summer league and now I did that, and I was just kept on playing. We was doing 2 days of workouts, so it was just a great conditioning, great like just another way to showcase my skills.
And now that you're in Charlotte, what have they told you about what your role might be, what to expect? Have you heard anything?
No, not really. This is like my second day here, so I'm just trying to get acclimated to like my situation, just trying to figure out what I need to do and what I gotta keep on doing. So just trying to be consistent, just trying to like figure out what to do.
What do you feel like with your skill set? What skill set of yours is NBA ready right now? How can you help a team? How can you be impactful today?
I can really score the ball. I can really get downhill, play make, and play defense at the other end. Just feel like if I ever come off the bench, I can really bring a big impact to the team and just try to help them as much as possible.
Isaiah Wong, a two-way player now with the Charlotte Hornets. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. We'll be following you all season long.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so great stuff there, Gianna. I mean, obviously, this is a guy we were just talking about not too long ago, all the great stuff he was doing with Oscar Tshiebwe, with the Salt Lake City Stars. Now he's got this two-way deal with the Hornets and the Swarm. What are you expecting out of him in Charlotte?
This, like we mentioned in the interview, this is his second time getting a two-way. So I expect him to up his level of play. And he mentioned in that interview that he wants to really surround himself around the team more than he did last time, get to know the guys. So I think for Isaiah, this is going to be a pivotal year for him. Second time being a pro, getting a two-way. He really fought for this one. He was player of the week last week. And now he's showcasing that he can do it. And given the opportunity, what is he going to do with it? We'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, 7 starts with the Stars this season. He's averaging 26.1 points per game. He had a career high 41 points. He scored on November 20th. So this guy, buckets are falling. He's looking good from beyond the arc. A lot of it's just going to be the opportunity. Hornets are 6-14, 12th in the Eastern Conference. So they have some wiggle room to get some new talent in there.
They have some wiggle room, but I think Isaiah's going to have to do a lot to see some minutes. I think right now, because they've been hit with the injury bug in Charlotte, they want to make sure they have some depth given the roster makeup. And so Isaiah, he's going to have to bide his time, see how that goes. And then if he does get a shot to be on the NBA court, he's going to have to prove that not only can you use me, you can use me a lot.
Okay, that's what he wants to see, and that's what Charlotte is hopefully going to get out of Isaiah Wong. After a short break, we got more NBA G League Takeover.
Big win on top.
Welcome back to the NBA G League Takeover. We're just a little over halfway through the tip-off tournament in the NBA G League. And if you don't know what I'm talking about or know much about the season, we're going to throw to a video by Jeffrey Key, the G League's know-it-all, to find out a little bit more.
G League basketball is officially back with an additional team, a bunch of fresh faces, and a ton of returning stars. First off, the G League welcomed a brand new team in the Valley Suns, the Phoenix Suns affiliate, marking the first time that all 30 NBA teams have a G League affiliate. Additionally, the Ontario Clippers relocated and rebranded themselves as the San Diego Clippers. As usual, the G League season will be separated into two parts. Starting today, all 31 G League teams will battle in the tip-off tournament. Teams will be divided into 4 regions and will play 14 games against each other. The best 8 teams will advance to compete in the championship at the G League Winter Showcase presented by the General Insurance. Following the tip-off tournament, team records will reset for the 34-game regular season starting on December 27th. As far as talent goes, this might be the most loaded G League season yet. Stars like Mac McClung, Oscar Tshiebwe, Jason Preston, Josh Christopher, Colin Gillespie, and DJ Stewart are all returning. Meanwhile, former NBA veterans like Jahlil Okafor, Elfrid Payton, Malachi Flynn, Patrick McCall, and Justice Winslow will battle for another chance in the association.
All right, thank you to my main man, Jeff Key. I miss his personality. I miss his drip, as he would call it.
Yes, his Hawaiian shirts.
His Hawaiian shirts.
You need to start bringing it then.
I need Jeffrey Key in my life. I miss this dude. But Gianna, for our audience, first of all, Jeff and you guys know so much about the G League. But from a standings perspective, what was your take-home message from all that?
I mean, looking at all the standings right now, to me, I'm so surprised how dominant the Iowa Wolves are. Like, that wasn't the team I was thinking of going into it. Really, the Valley Suns, they're in the West. They're second right now, and they are stacked. Like, if you look at all of the team stats, player stats, like, all of it goes to the Valley Suns. So you'd think, although they're second in the West at 6-3, they're right behind the Stockton Kings, 6-2. I just expected them to kind of be a little bit more dominant, but they're right there on the cusp of making it, and we still have more games to go. So that's one of the teams I'm looking out for. They're really tight races in all of the divisions. So like in the video said, there's going to be 4 divisions. The top team from each of them go to the Winter Showcase, trying to vie for the championship cup and the money. So if you're not used to it, I mean, these players are vying for money, which we see in the NBA as well. But this was a big deal when we tested it out in the NBA G League before the NBA ever did anything for them. And the guys in the G League aren't making the same money. So you're really pushing to get $100,000.
It really is true. It's, we're seeing what that prize pool for money in terms of the NBA Cup and what that's doing at the association level. But it's exciting stuff. My quick question for you is, Winter Showcase wise, is it usually telling if you have success in the Winter Showcase, does that usually mean you're going to be competing at the end of the year to win the championship? Is that the teams that succeed during the Winter Showcase, they usually do well at the end of the season?
No, not always, because teams change drastically. So come beginning of January, I think it's January 5th, NBA teams can have 10-day call-ups. And then 2As are solidified by, all NBA standard contacts are solidified by January 10th. So there's a lot of changing that happens. And so those changes don't always mean you'll have the same team by the end of the year. So you don't know what it's going to look like.
All right. A lot of great stuff there when it comes to the standings. Coming up after a short break, we got to hear from Gianna and get her take on G of the Week.
Win on top.
All right, welcome back to NBA G League Takeover. Mike Davis, Gianna Hearn. Gianna, it's time for G of the Week. Who do you got for us?
Tyrese Martin, two-way player for the Brooklyn Nets. He, off the bench in the NBA, had 30 points, 8 three-pointers made.
Wow.
This is really cool to see from a guy from the G League who spent a lot of time trying to grind it out and say, you know what, I can do something. And 30 points is not only doing something, it's making a big statement. So off the bench, I think that's a crazy thing to do. So Tyrese Martin, you're our G of the Week.
I love it. It's a franchise record for points on a two-way deal for the Nets. So exciting stuff there. He did that over the Phoenix Suns as well. We're giving a lot of love to Dan Hurley, guys. He played at UConn and Rhode Island. Dan Hurley, systems there, so exciting stuff. But let's talk about something else that is top of mind for us recently on Angel Reese's pod. LiAngelo Ball making a lot of news, Lonzo Ball making a lot of news. Both of those guys were on the pod discussing about the G League and LiAngelo's interest in actually coming back to play in the G League. Lonzo more so saying he should go overseas. LiAngelo saying, I just need that opportunity in the G, and if I get my shot, I'm going to be able to show people what I can do. The thing is, LiAngelo's 26 years old, obviously part of that whole family with LeVar, played at Chino Hills. He was undrafted, played a little overseas in Lithuania, and then he spent a little bit of time with the Greensboro Swarm. So, Gianna, tell us a little bit about how you kind of initially reacted to this news for the G League getting a lot of discussion and talk on this pod with Angel Reese.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting for LiAngelo to call the G out. He is in the available player pool right now, and so any team can really call him. And he said he's holding out before going overseas. He's waiting around. He doesn't know what the timeline is, but he's waiting right now. 26 years old. His brother has a point. That is, it is a young man's league right now, and the young guys are typically getting those contracts. But when he did play 2 seasons in the G, the time he did get on the court, his first start, he had 26 points.
Yeah.
He had a 20. Like, when given the opportunity, he has been able to show that he can put points on the board. He just didn't get a lot of opportunity in the G, though, which is somewhat surprising.
Right. Now, there was obviously a connection there with his brother being, a part of the Charlotte Hornets organization. LaMelo is really crushing it at the NBA level. But to me, my biggest takeaway and the biggest telling thing here is, listen, this is a guy who could be playing overseas, could be making money overseas, but that shot to play in the NBA, it's still viewed from guys like him as the G League is the best way to get to the NBA.
It's no doubt it's the most direct. I mean, you don't have to go thousands of miles overseas to get back. So it's the most direct. It's where scouts are paying a lot of attention. He's not wrong. So we'll see if any G League teams bite. Now, come when all those contracts, the 10 days come up, maybe there's a spot for him in the G. Is it going to be too late? We'll see, LiAngelo.
It's interesting stuff. Of course, there's always the big baller brand and all, the hoopla that comes around with LeVar and all that stuff. So you're going to have to play some pretty good minutes in order to maybe get a lot of the chaos that could come with that. But it's going to be interesting. We're wishing him the best of luck.
I will say Lonzo did put out there an Instagram post where he called out his brother LaMelo, and it said it's all happening. So people are saying, what if all 3 of them could be on together? Same team. Who knows?
Hey.
They make things happen. We'll say that.
LeVar certainly does. Thank you so much for joining us here on NBA G League Takeover. We'll see you next time.